So my name is McCormack. I'm CEO of BT Conferencing, part of BT Group, a publicly quoted company. And I just want to start by asking who has shares here? Hands up, come on. Who has shares? Hands up. No, of any company. Of any company. Right, sorry. That's 10 of my seconds. Keep your hands up if those shares are doing really well at the moment. Okay? So, like you, I'm going to curse the darkness today. I have a bit of an easy job. I want to talk about something that really troubles me about publicly quoted corporations and how the standard practices and markets around that have failed us in the last while. And I really haven't a clue how we're going to shape a post-crisis corporation that looks more to the long term than to the short term, that looks beyond the quarterly cycle. This is not an appeal for softness of management. I run a company with a 35% annual revenue growth rate and a 45% annual profit growth rate. We do a very thorough and good job for our shareholders. But I'm deeply passionate about finding a way to make corporations think more broadly and I guess for the market to value those people who think in a different way and in a more long-term way and in a more collaborative way about how corporations who are publicly quoted should evolve. I think private corporations are different if you're owned by a family or if you're owned by a trust or if you've got some other form of governance. This really isn't applying to you. What I'm talking about is the pressure of the quarterly results cycle and what we can do to kind of break out of the short-termism. If the market was working, I have to believe you would find somewhere some corporations whose stock price would have stayed steady. And I don't know that we found any of those in any of the work that I've been doing. We've all plummeted off a cliff from a share price perspective. And if the share price values the long-run free cash flows generated by an organization, how could we have got it so wrong? How could we have valued companies at such a level at one point and then have them plummet off the cliff? I want to stress that this is not an appeal for governance. As a person who signs Sarbanes-Oxley and Turnbull once a quarter and risks going to jail if I lie about what our company has done, it's not about governance. I don't think many people have been malfeasant in the companies that share prices have plummeted. I think what's happened is they've made bad decisions. And there's a framework around the bad decisions that troubles me. So just to give an extent of the impact of the crisis, we've lost 17 high street firms in the UK. We've lost Circuit City in the United States. We'll see unemployment in Ireland probably peak between 15 and 20%. And we've seen the collapse of Iceland. And the amazing thing is, didn't we see it coming? I kind of wonder if we were all so smart here in Davos, why this wasn't the theme of last year's conference, avoiding the global crisis. There were some voices. Angela Merkel stood up and talked about the overheating of the economy. Some of our YGL colleagues, one in particular in Ireland, was told to stop talking down the economy. And now they, without Schadenfreude, if I pronounced that correctly, have been right. And so now we stand, and it's interesting this week because I've heard many appeals that something must be done. Something must be done, we all say, but nobody really comes out with what must be done. We need values, we need new governance, but today I'd like your help in shaping some concrete things that we can do. I also want to say that I don't believe that managers are idiots. I don't think we're idiots. I hope we're not idiots. But we've collectively failed entirely in our job, which was to create value for our shareholders. You're all shareholders of companies of one form or another, and we have failed you because your share price has gone down and your value, your wealth has been destroyed. People's pensions have been destroyed. So what is a good year's work for a business leader? And I think this maybe starts to come to where the mindset with which we make decisions in terms of what is valued. There's an egocentricity that is quite worrying. And a lot of work that's been done says that the greatest predictor of a business's failure is appearing on the cover of Fortune, or being featured in a book by one of our esteemed academic colleagues, or worse still, writing a book of your own about how great you are. So we definitely have examples of hubris and all of this good stuff, but there's some more thoughtful work, and I guess both of you gentlemen will know Don Sull, and I'm very, very influenced by his work on active inertia, which says that even great companies get so bound up in the things that made them great that when the environment moves, they can't move with it. Circuit City was probably a good example of a company that deserved to fail, but the environment has moved so quickly that every company is caught in a path of active inertia. So what I want to get to is something that produces a balanced scorecard, not a nice one like this that appears in company documentation, but something that translates into real share price action. And as we go into the future, not clear at all on how things are going to turn out, I'm wondering what methods we can come up with, whether it be taxation regimes, whether it be shareholder regimes, whether it be the way that we think about business, but more the way we act in business that relates more to the long run, combining not just the quarterly production of profit, but something that looks into the future. Now, the free market activists amongst you would say this is just the sort of tail end of Schumpeter's last wave of creative destruction. And those that would say that we should just let the auto companies fail, I actually agree. Let the banks fail, let everybody fail, and let the market take care of it. That is one approach. But I think the market has failed us this time. And I think if we don't take a different approach to valuing how companies are performing on the public stock exchange and encouraging managers to lead for the long term and not for the quarterly results cycle, then we're going to head to this exact same place sometime again soon. So my appeal is come work with me and come up with a series of ideas that will help us value public companies in a way that gets us out of the problems that we've experienced in the last few months across the entire market segment. Thank you.